Okay, good morning, everyone. So this morning we want to start off talking about Constantinople and the Byzantium Empire. Okay. But before we start, I thought it's good that we turn to the Lord's word first. Okay. And the word of the Lord here says, in the Lord's hands, it's blocking all my words. In the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him. Proverbs 21:1. Okay. And then 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 1 to 4 tell us, I urge then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings, and for all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and to come to a knowledge of the truth. Proverbs 21:1 tell us that sometimes we look at the king. He seems to be very sovereign and all-powerful. And especially when we are at the mercy of the king, we see him like a god. Okay? And that's precisely was what happened in the Roman Empire. Many kings positioned themselves as God. But Proverbs 21:1 reminds us, the Lord's hand, the king's heart, in the Lord's hand, the king's heart is like a stream of water, as soft as water. He can channel them. Okay? And in 1 Timothy chapter 2, Paul, in the face, remember, in the face of all those persecution, of all those Caesars who were calling themselves Lord and Savior and God, he says that I urge you that you pray for these people, so that these kings, being vessels of God, can help provide us peaceful and quiet lives, so that we can live in all godliness and holiness. And he said, this is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and to come to a knowledge of the truth. And as we enter into this fifth phase, okay, into the time of the Roman emperors. Remember this diagram we told you that from Augustus, and then we talk until Nero, okay, and we didn't talk about some of the kings or Caesars that actually ruled for only a short time during those very chaotic time. This is Augustus Caesars again. Okay, so these were the Caesars, whom during the time when First Timothy was written and Paul talked about, praying for these people, okay, despite their human wickedness and sinfulness, okay, and weaknesses, even as leaders, may not be the best leaders, okay. Paul says we're supposed to pray for these people, okay? And God was doing things, and then we see that today we want to talk about one person, Caesar Constantius, that comes later on. Sorry, I think I circled the wrong one. Constantius here is actually the father of Constantine. Constantine. Constantine is the last one. Okay, over here, the last one. The one that's from 306 to 337. That's the king that converted to Christianity and changed everything. Constantius was his father. The four person before Constantine, okay, Diocletian and Maximus and Constantius and Galerius and Licinius. Basically, these people were what we call four Caesars who were ruling at the same time. Okay, each one of them at different time. Constantius, Constantine's father, was one of those. Okay. So this Diocletian, basically, he wanted to try something different. Instead of being one Caesar that ruled over the whole, you don't have the black part that is blocking your, okay, rule over the whole big Roman Empire, as you can see, all the way from Spain right out to Mesopotamia. It is very wide. Okay, And he find that very often, Diocletian find that very often when the Caesar is fighting a battle out in the battlefront, some other people will be doing something hanky-panky, and then his position is not consolidated, not secure. Okay, or if he send a general to the front with a lot of soldiers to go and fight, the general can become so strong, he can come back from the battle and can take over and usurp his place. So to stop this, Diocletian basically divide his country first into two parts, the east and the west, ruled by two Augustus or emperor. Then after that, he divide into four, okay, which another two parts he say ruled by Caesar. So a Caesar is like a deputy or emperor. So he had four emperors. So that's why he's called a tetrarchy. Okay. So in his time, these were popularly the four areas that he ruled in, that he divided. The first one, you can see the yellow part. This is a part that can include Britain and Gaul, which is today France, is ruled by this person called Constantius, who is the father of Constantine. Rightfully, according to this rule, the father is not supposed to pass the leadership of the Caesarship or the emperorship next to the son, but to objectively pass to the next most capable person. But at this, most fathers will pass it to their son, nevertheless. Okay, all right. So Constantius actually passed away, and then this place in Britain, in York, where you see Constantine was actually made the Caesar to take over his father, not the one live one here, the one that is in the statue. Okay, yeah. So Constantine, how did he become a Christian? There's two stories. One story, it was also the story said that before a very critical battle, when he was trying to fight the other rival Caesar or emperor to consolidate the entire Roman Empire back under one rule again, under this battle of Milvian Bridge in 312. Okay, he saw. Okay, some say one story said it was a dream that God gave to him. Okay, to put on his shield of his soldier this sign, what we call the key and the row. Basically, the key and the row is the cross as well as the R. So it means it stands for the beginning of the letter for Christ. Okay, so it is talking about Christ. I will tell you that before he became a Christian, Constantine was already very open to Christianity. Diocletian, his predecessor, who was the emperor over the whole empire, persecuted the Christians a lot. But Constantine did not persecute the Christians. In fact, his mother, his biological mother, Helena, was a Christian herself. Okay, even before Constantine became a Christian. Okay, so he saw this. He has this dream to make this sign on his soldier's shield, so then he will win. Another story says that before he went for the battle, he saw a vision in heaven. And the vision has this sign, says that in this sign, you shall conquer. And it was that same sign. Okay? So subsequently, he, of course, won the battle. And then he became a Christian. He was baptized. And then basically, some people thought that in the what we call the Edict of Milan, Constantine make the whole country or the whole empire Christian, but that's not true. Constantine did not make the country or the empire Christian. It was his successor later on who did that. Constantine in the Edict of Milan basically says that from now on, Christianity is one of the acceptable religion and will not be persecuted. So he actually accept a pluralistic society with Christianity as one of the religion. Here we have is a coin of Constantine after he became the emperor of the whole Roman Empire. And you can see this key row sign here, okay, on top of his helmet here. You can see a cross with a kind of a P. The P is actually the row or the R sound, okay, of the Roman, of the Greek lettering, okay. So he wanted to find a new capital. Okay, so he found that the Constantinople in Turkey, which is over here in this street, okay, over here, connecting Europe and Asia, is a strategic place for him to have a new Rome or a new capital. Okay, this is a close-up view. You can see actually Constantinople is basically in this little triangular peninsula over here mainly. Okay, on this side, on the European side. Okay, so when you go, you in Istanbul will be mainly on this side. Okay, today both sides are built up, but the old side is all on the here. Okay, basically this what I've just pointed here. This is the one of the oldest map that show Constantinople. Okay, it's all protected by seawater. Okay, and it's all protected by fortress. Okay, so this is map of Constantinople. They call it the historic peninsula. Okay, this map was drawn in 1422. It's the oldest surviving map of this city. Okay, it predates this map predates the Turkish conquest in 1453, which transformed this city from a Christian city into a Muslim city, Islamic city. Okay. Now this is a mock-up of what the city would have looked like. Okay, in its time, okay, with all its hippodrome, that means the horse racing theater, okay, and all the stadium and everything, okay, all you can see is a very properly planned place, properly planned because it was a new capital to replace Rome. And why did Constantine want to move his capital here? What made Constantinople a good capital of Roman Empire? Firstly, its richer location. This part of the world was richer than the Italian peninsula. Secondly, it's nearer to the happenings. Okay, you find that if you look at the map of the Mediterranean, the Italian peninsula is towards on the left side, on the west side, very far out. Whereas Constantinople is in the populous area. Okay, around there, most of the people are living, and around there is a very rich place. It also, okay, it's a place that around three major bodies of water, Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Aegean Sea. And so it is a very important bottleneck, okay? And it's also easy for it to mobilize military to the front line, especially at that point of time, one of the greatest nuisance for the Roman Empire basically are the Vandals or the barbarians who are from the north of the Danube, from the northern Europe. So it's nearer there for them to mobilize troops to go across the river to protect. And then we have this thing called the Golden Horn over here, okay, on the right side. Okay, this part here basically is a very good protected harbor. Okay, that make this a very good harbor. Okay, and make it very defensible. This water, as well as just by making a big what do you call that, wall around here, you can actually protect the whole city. Okay? So in fact, as you look, Constantine basically established his capital here. Here is a column of Constantine that is still surviving that you can see in Istanbul when you go there. Okay, built in 330 to commemorate its establishment as the new capital of Roman Empire. Okay, originally this place is called Byzantium. This place, okay, and Constantinople was a name that people popularly call it because of Constantine. Okay, so it was an unofficial name, but it became the official name. So here are some facts just to tell you about this city before what it was, before Constantine came. The city was already around 1,300 years before Christ. Okay, was founded by the Greeks. Okay, by these city-states called Megara. By the way, the Greeks, before that, they were, for many times, they were just city-states. They were very loose group of people in all the coasts in Mediterranean, but they were not united. So they were like Singapore, city-states, all revolve around a city, small country. And it's called Byzantium. And the word Byzantium is thought to have come up from the names of two persons. One name's Bizarre and one named Antas. okay, who kind of founded this city, okay. Then for a large part, before the time of Constantine, it was also ruled by the Persians, okay. And so only at 324, Constantine basically took over this place and redeveloped this place into his capital. Initially, he called it Nova Roma, which is New Rome, or the Second Rome, or sometimes they call it the Eastern Rome. So he has many names, you see. Now it was declared the capital by Constantine, okay. And Constantinople was actually, it took him 6 years to build it, and he consecrated it on 330, okay. And then one of the church council of Nicaea, later on I'll show you where this Nicaea is actually found very near to Constantinople. Okay? One of his successors, Theodosius I, okay, when he ascended power in 379 AD, actually he's the one who established Christianity as a state religion. So it wasn't Constantine who did that, it was Theodosius, okay. And he was also the one who convened the first council, the Church Ecumenical Council in 381 in Constantinople. Okay, and I'll tell you all the 7 important church councils that happened around there later on in my last session. Okay, and he was also the one who declared this city the patriarch, declared the city patriarch as the second in power only to Rome's. Okay, so meaning to say is that the bishop of this city of Constantinople becomes the second important leader of the whole church after the Bishop of Rome. Okay. Theodosius II, his son, okay, actually built an 18-meter or 60-foot tall triple wall fortification which protected the whole place very well for a long period of time until gunpowder came 1,000 years later. Okay, so the wall protected the city for 1,000 years. Okay. Importantly, in 537, okay, on the 26th of December after Christmas Day, Justinian, one of the emperor, okay, replaced the Hagia Irene, the Holy Peace, okay, with a new chapel, a new church called the Hagia Sophia, or the Holy Wisdom. Okay, and Hagia Sophia that is built in 537 AD, which is 1,500 years before us, is still standing today. Okay, it was converted into a mosque when the Muslims conquered the place, but later on converted into a museum. Okay, but just not long ago reconverted into a mosque again. Okay, so you will have a chance to see Hagia Sophia. Okay. Okay, so important thing is that during this period of time, the whole Roman Empire was also divided kind of into 2 parts geographically. Okay, as we said, because the Constantinople is here, Rome is here. As you can see, Rome is not in the center of this whole thing and not in the most populous and rich area. The rich area is around here, okay, where there are a lot of resources, a lot of trade. Okay, everybody is going through here, a lot of trade up to the people over here, a lot of trade down here also with the people around here also. Okay, so that's why here get richer and richer, but the bishop here is only second to the bishop here because this is foremost. Rome is still foremost. Okay, but the thing is that the Germanic barbarians, basically these are the river Rhine and the river Danube that separate them from the Roman Empire and civilization. They were all the time trying to intrude into the Roman Empire. Okay, the Roman Empire was only expanding for the first 200 years. Okay, thereafter, it wasn't able to expand anymore. It was only busy trying to contain the attack of all these barbarians from different places. Okay, so until at one time in 476 AD, the barbarians really come into Rome and sack Rome. Okay, and this entire Roman Empire on the Western Roman Empire fell. So what remained behind was only the orange part. Okay, and which we popularly not only just call, they also call themselves Romans. They culturally they are exactly the same as over here. Okay, but we begin to call them more and more the Byzantine Empire because of their background from Byzantium. Okay, so if you hear this word Byzantine Empire, you will know it is talking about this surviving Eastern Roman Empire. Okay, this is Hagia Sophia, built by Justin. Okay, as I mentioned, and just been converted back into a mosque from 2020 onwards. Okay. This is the Byzantine Empire actually at its zenith. It retake back some of the Western Roman Empire, like the peninsula of Italy and some of the northern Africa, and even to the part of Spain, Gibraltar. Okay, at 555 AD under Justinian, this was the greatest of the Byzantine Empire. Okay, the Eastern Roman surviving empire. Okay, at its zenith. Now, in the Hagia Sophia, you'll probably see this, look out for this Jesus Christ, the Pantocrator, or Jesus Christ, the Almighty. Okay, it is a very famous icon that is replicated. You can see this picture replicated many places in many old churches. Okay, but what's so special, you may ask about this thing? Just in a cursory look, you see it's just a picture of a person that people will say is Jesus Christ. Okay, but really this picture is a very clever play of symmetry. If you draw a line right in the middle of from top to bottom of this picture, you see that Jesus on the right and Jesus on the left is very different. Okay, so it talks about the true nature of Jesus Christ. Okay, one his human nature, one his divine nature. Okay, one he raised up his hands as authority, one he hold the New Testament with the word of God. Okay, so if you see, if you just cut off one part and put in the other part, you'll find that it's like one, this is one person. Okay, or is this Jesus, in his divinity? Is this Jesus in his humanity? Same thing. The oldest and the most famous of this icon called the Pantocrator is actually found in St. Catherine in the Sinai Desert, which is this picture over here, St. Catherine's Monastery. Okay, and you can see this picture of again the same thing that what I did just now, of the two Jesuses in one picture, talking about the two dual nature of Jesus, fully God and fully human. Okay, just now I talked about the Hagia Irene, the smaller one, the Greek Orthodox Church, Hagia Irene, or the Holy Peace. Okay, which is right now a smaller church at the Topkapi Palace, at the near to the president, the palace of the Ottoman Palace in Istanbul. Okay, so it is the only building, the only church building that has not been converted into a mosque. Okay, but today is also a museum. It's not used as a church building, I think. Okay. Then of course, like all Roman cities, Constantinople has these things you can see, aqueduct. This is the white water PWD, the water system that they pump from the hills to the city. Okay, they're still around. You can still see them. Look out for them in the city in Istanbul. Now, this is the wall that I talked to you just now about. Okay, this wall is the wall that is built by Theodosian. Okay, as I told you just now, 60 feet high, and really protected the city for 1,000 years until the advance of gunpowder that can break it. Okay, Constantinople is very impregnable. Okay, firstly by this wall. Okay, you can see this wall was not only just one layer. The wall of Constantine was already there in 330. But what happened was this Theodosius basically expanded a second layer wall, in fact, a multi-layer wall over here further away, okay, so that it become bigger. Okay. So the city of Constantinople basically is separate. Around it is three major bodies of water. The Sea of Marmara, which is the main part where they have the ports. Okay, and then here's the Bosporus Straits that go into the Black Sea, a very critical one. So recently, during the Ukraine war, basically Turkey kind of used this as a stoppage point from the Russian military navy to pass this place. so they cannot reinforce their navy in the Black Sea. Okay, and then more importantly is this place called the Golden Horn. This over here, this is where it is very safe for many ships to come in through, and also to protect this whole place. Okay, so all the key Roman structures of the cities are found inside here. Okay, in the city. Constantinople is well protected also by a few things here. I don't know whether you see something here or not. Besides the wall, there is two other powerful weapons that it has. One is this thing, which you can see here, is called the chain. Okay, I don't know you see here. Now it's no more present. Okay, we don't know where it really goes to. But in the ancient days, they have a chain, an underwater chain, okay, that go from one end to the other end in the mouth of the Golden Horn. Basically, if enemy ship, want to come in, they can use this to prevent enemy ship. They can raise the chain, and enemy ship will not be able to come through. Or if enemy ship went into the Golden Horn, they can actually raise this and trap them inside and attack them. And that's what they did to the Persians when the Persians attacked these cities and they had victory. Okay, this is likely how the chain will be like, in the water. Okay, and this is actually found in the museum there, that they actually found the actual chain. Okay, some remnants of the chain that is in the museum. Yeah, and they show you, of course, this picture here shows that it's very near, but it is farther than this. Okay, and how the chain is being used. Okay, so one of the weapons of protection for Constantinople. Another secret weapon today, nobody really know how it's made right now. It's so secret as that we don't even know the formula. It's what we call Greek fire. Okay? Greek fire was an incendiary weapon used by the Eastern Roman Empire beginning in 672 AD. It is used to set fire to an enemy ship. It consists of combustible compound emitted from a flame-throwing weapon. Okay, so this is a weapon of mass destruction. Okay, and used powerfully. But the secret was so well kept that until today we don't know how to manufacture this Greek fire anymore. Nobody knows what really is this Greek fire. Okay, yeah. But now I'm just going down history. So as time go by, okay, basically things begin to change. In 1054 AD, okay, there was a conflict between the Bishop of Rome and the Bishop of Constantinople. Okay, as you know, although the empire was kind of mainly revolving around here, but the church-wise has no boundary, right? The church has no physical boundary. The church still has its center in Rome. Okay, the Pope at that point of time is controlling Rome. Okay, so but because of the geographical area distancing, the Western Church and the Eastern Church, their cultural practices of worship become very different. Okay, one of it is that Western churches continue to use statues, okay, whereas Eastern churches refuse to use statues, but instead they supersede it with icons. Icons are just like the picture of Christ I showed you just now, which is basically two-dimensional. So some of these differences begin to become more and more, and of course, more important is the power begin contested between the bishops of these two cities. So much so that there was a great schism, we call it. So the Roman Catholic Church become the one that's on the Western Church, and then the Eastern Orthodox Church become the one that is on the East. Okay, so this East-West divide continue even until today. Okay, actually part of the rhetoric of Putin in Russia, and his animosity against the West and how they are protecting Ukraine, okay, is rooted in this kind of East-West conflict that was already there all along historically. Okay, so this is a long drawn kind of thing. Okay, Eastern Church actually had 4 centers. Okay, not only just Constantinople, but Antioch, Jerusalem, and Alexandria, the great centers of learning. Okay, the Byzantine Empire actually, at its lowest point, shrunk to only like modern day Greece, okay, and Bulgaria, and as well as part of Turkey. Okay, it's almost like only the part that you and I will be visiting. Okay, so where we are visiting is basically the key part or the Byzantium remnant. Okay, finally in 1204, the Western Church, okay, got so angry with the Eastern Church that during one of the crusade, the fourth crusade, instead of fighting, okay, the enemies of the cross and the enemies of the church, they fought against the Byzantium Eastern Church. Okay, so in the fourth crusade, they actually devastated Constantinople. Okay, and Constantinople after that became a very poor city. So this is a picture that was drawn on that. Okay, but what's to come was that in 1453, the city, okay, was yielded to the oncoming Ottoman Empire. Okay, it was besieged by them, and with the use right now of gunpowder, they were able to conquer this city. So they call them the Ottoman. Okay, the Ottoman are basically the descendant of Osman, the Turk. Okay, so Ottoman is another form of the word Osman. Okay, he's commanded by this 21-year-old Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II. Okay, and here is a picture of him famously riding through the gates. And then the first stop he went into was Hagia Sophia. It was said that he X'd down the door of Hagia Sophia and then immediately went in, and thousands of citizens were hiding in the church. Okay, and there was great ripping and everything, and he vandalized the church and the symbols of Christianity. Immediately, almost, he ordered an imam to chant the Islamic prayer there and convert the church into a mosque. Okay, once and for all, solidifying this whole place to become an Islamic place. Some people ask me, Pastor, why are we going to Turkey, an Islamic country? But if you know this, you realize that actually there is a lot of church history behind this place. Constantinople was officially renamed as Istanbul in 1930. The name Istanbul basically is derived from the Greek phrase, okay, Istanpolin, which basically means into the city, okay. And this is the name that many people will say, are you going into the city? Okay, it's just like in the Chinese, we say, you okay, you want to, in Hokkien, say lo po, you want to go downtown, okay, that kind of thing, downtown, okay, it's a downtown kind of thing. So it's so famous as the only downtown, the only city at that point of time for thousands of years, that the people call it Istanbul. So this is the modern name for it today. Okay, today it remains, okay, the largest city in Europe, by the way, okay, not only just the largest city in Turkey, but the largest city in Europe. So you'll be flying into the largest city in Europe. Okay. Okay, all right. We come to an end of the first session, and let me see, is there a question or anything there? Okay. Okay, so, Rose says, I read that part of the reason why the citizens side with the Ottoman Empire because of the cruelty committed by the Crusaders. Yes, thank you, you are right. The Crusaders were not all good. The Crusaders, there are a lot of mercenaries, people who also go and join them because they're fighting for other reasons also. So the Crusaders also commit a lot of atrocities. Okay, today the church distanced itself from calling itself Crusade or Crusaders because of this bad name the Crusaders did. And in fact, today you use the term Crusader. Many Muslims are very not happy to hear the word Crusaders. Okay, because in the name of the crusade, the church did a lot of atrocity, especially among people of Islamic faith in the past also. So it's not something that the church entirely is proud of. Oh. Okay, we take a 10 minutes break, and then we'll go into talk about Greeks, and then we'll talk about Turkey after another 10 minutes break. All those will consolidate, and we'll repeat again some of these things on the, what do you call that, Constantinople's history again. Thank you. So we will stop the recording right now first. We'll take a break.